All right. I hope I am visible. I'm live. All right. So if you guys can hear me properly, you can let me know in the chat section, and if the screen is also visible to you all. Hi everyone. How are you? All right. Can you quickly confirm? Okay. Hello, Rakesh. Can you quickly confirm that if I'm audible? Good evening. If I'm audible and if you can hear me properly. Hello, Anjali. I'm hoping that you guys are having a good day, guys and girls, obviously. Folks should be the right word to use, right? All right, great. So we have to wait for a few minutes. After that, we will start the discussion from where we left, right? The last class where we discussed till statements, right, and a little introduction of loops we did in the last class. We'll continue that discussion over here, and also we will look into some more star patterns and how do you print all such things. All right. Good evening, Abhishek. Good evening to everyone. Yeah, we just discussed a brief about that, while loop in the last class. We also discussed about statements, operators, and all in the last class, right? I hope you all of you remember that thing. This is day 4 of the C programming bootcamp, right? In which we were tackling all this things around C programming in a little fun and quick manner, so that you guys will feel attracted to the C programming and programming in general also. And as I was discussing earlier in the last session, that today we are going to have an extra 10 to 15 minutes of session wherein we'll be having a live quiz. And I hope all of you are well prepared for that. And, uh, you know, we will be having the winner, the top winner of that quiz will be, getting goodies from our side. And you guys would be thinking that, how would we provide you goodies, just in live chat and all. That's going to be very simple. Just give me a minute. Yeah, just a minute. All right. You guys can give me a quick thumbs up if we should start the session. I'm waiting for your confirmation, guys. If quickly let me know if you can start the session. All right. All right. Let's quickly get into this then. I can see people joining in. Meanwhile, they can also join in midway also. So in the last class, I'll just quickly give you a brief of whatever we discussed in the last class, right, on my whiteboard, so that you can connect the dots and you can continue the discussion ahead. Let's get started. We started our discussion from operators, isn't it? We started our discussion from operators, right? In that, we have already discussed about arithmetic operators prior to that, but we started about the discussion on relational operators. Relational were basically less than, greater than, equals to this thing, right? Greater than, equals to, less than, equals to, something like that. And the major important star of the last class was about the logical operators, which were nothing but and, or we also write this as a and d, right? Then we have double pipe, or we call this as or only, and then we have not, and we call this as not only, right? So this is what we were discussing in the last class. Just a quick recap. This will mean that if both the conditions are true, then only you'll be getting true, right? This means that if any of the condition, right, if either of the condition is true, then you'll be getting true in that scenario. This is basically for negating, right? If that is already true, it will make that as a false. If that is already false, it will make that as a true. I hope you can recall that last example which we were taking, right? That voting example, that we were just first of all checking that if the age of a particular individual is greater than 18, he should be allowed to vote. But after some time, we added another condition to that, right? What was that added condition? The added condition was, what if the age is greater than that, but if the user has a voter ID or not, right? We added one condition saying that if the voter ID is true also, and if the age is also above than 18, then he should be allowed to vote. That was a particular condition that we were doing in the last class, right? That sums up this discussion on that. And next discussion was about conditionals, right? Conditionals, which I just given you an example. Conditionals was an example. Conditionals may if and else we were running, right? It looks normally like this. If, else if, and at the end we have else, something like this, right? There goes the condition, right? There goes the condition, whatever is the condition, right? If the condition is satisfied, then only this particular block of code will be executed. Else if, it will check for the next condition, right? If this condition satisfied, the following block of code will be going to execute. Else, if none of this satisfies the condition, right, then the else block is going to be executed, right? That was something about our if else scenario, right? I hope you have got that fairly, right? You have got that very firmly. Next up was something around switch cases or switch statement that we were dealing, right? So switch works just like, almost like the way of if else, but in that situation we use certain cases, right? We use a variable and we say that whatever is the probable value of a variable, right? We could say case could be it could be Monday. I know, right, that we are not taking it like syntax, we are not focusing on syntax. Assume that case could be a day, could be Monday, case could be Tuesday, and all these other things. Days could be something like this. So all these can be tackled using this particular cases, right? Or Saturday or something like this. And all of these cases need to be separated using a break statement. Why? Can anyone let me know about this? Why do we need to separate this using a break keyword? And what exactly does a break statement do? In the case, by the time you are answering me this, I hope you will be able to answer me this. Break is basically used to break the execution of the current ongoing statement or the current ongoing loop, right? In case our case Monday is getting executed, right, we don't want other statement below that or following that to get executed directly, because if this line is executed, all the lines following this will get executed in case you don't break this execution using a break keyword, right? So that's why we will be using a break situation in all of the cases, right? In all of the cases we will be using this way. And there is one default part, right? Just like we have else in a if else later, we have a default case over here, right? We have a default case. Yeah, that case is basically kind of a fallback situation or kind of a else situation. In case you are none of the above cases is being executed, this default case will get executed, right? So that was about the switch case. I hope there was no problem at all till this point in the last class about conditionals and break statements, right? If that was crystal clear, right, then in this class we should be moving ahead and we should be knowing more about loops, how do they function, and what all stuff can we get done using these loops. So let's see that into action. First of all, let's see what we have on the plate today. So ongoing this, right, first was about the control statement, right? Control statements is basically how would you, yeah, how would you channelize your particular conditions, right? How do you channelize your flow of the program? Suppose in case you are writing certain line of code, you are writing line number 1, line number 2, 3, 4, and 5. All the lines will get executed in line number 1, 2, 3 in a execution in a sequential manner, right? All of this will get executed once and only in a sequential manner. In case you want to change that flow, right, you don't want to say that I don't want to, I simply execute this statement only one time. I want to execute this multiple number of times, or I want to iterate at particular few lines. For these situations, you can use a control statement. All of these are control statement, right? Normal one is a sequential one. Sequential as in line by line it is going. Branching means that you can you can have some conditionals saying that if this is the case, you should be writing this, else you should be doing such things like that, right? Now this is a like little different thing, right, about unconditional branch statement. You can totally avoid that for a minute, right? There are some things called as go to statements or about break and continue statement, right? This is not the agenda for the discussion as of now, so you can totally skip it. And let me open up my pen so that I can highlight these points for you. Just a minute. All right. So as I was saying earlier, that in this particular thing, sequential is the normal flow, right? Whatever is the normal execution of your program, this is that. Conditional mean that suppose the statement is written but you don't want to execute it in case you don't follow any condition, or you want to execute a different line in case you follow a different condition. For that you will be using conditional statement, right? We have seen if else, nested if else. What is this nested if? Nested if means that if within an if, right? Suppose you would say that maybe I would first of all check that if your age is above 18 or not. This is what I'll be checking, right? But let's assume a real life example that maybe an animal or maybe any pet came in and they wanted to vote, right? And we are just checking if the age of this particular thing is 18 years of above or not, right? So like, will an animal be allowed to vote if the animal is above 18 years of age? No, right? They'll not be allowed to vote if they are 18 years above 18 years of age, or above any particular age. In a simple sense, right? So what we can do is we can write it this way also. We can first of all check that if is a human, right? If that is a human, we'll check that if the current person is a human or not, right? If that is a human, then only we should be interested into checking that if age of this human is greater than 18 or not, something like this, right? Don't worry about the syntax as a minute, right? Just assume that if you are writing if within inside an if, that is called as a nested if, right? Then you have else if later. Else if as in if, else if, else if, else if, and then else. That is particularly else if later. And last was about the switch statement, which we have just seen, right? So that was about the conditional statement that we have just seen. This we are skipping for a minute, right? Because that is not the scope of our discussion as of now. Now up next is the basic very interesting introduction that is coming up, that is about the loops, right? First of all, we will be tackling for loop, while loop, and do while loop, right? I've already given you the example of while loop, right? How does it look? How do we perform simple operation using a while loop? But still, I'll quickly be recalling that example in the class, right? Let's do one thing. Let's quickly go to our console. Let's quickly go to our coding screen. Let's see what all can we do over there. Online C compiler. We'll be going over there. Just like usually, I'll remove all of the above code. Sideline this for you right now. And again, the same example, guys. Suppose I want to print numbers from 1 till 10, right? I hope you are able to recall that example. What I'm trying to explain now is that suppose in case you want to have that numbers printing starting from 1 till 10, right? Normal, this, like, what do you say? This is a normal life, right? And then you have a Mentos life. So in case you want to go with the normal life that you want to print maybe this way, right? You should be having an int n equals to 1 also, right? You just want to print it this way. N plus plus, and again I'm just be writing the same stuff like this way. And if I try to execute it, I hope you will say that yes, the answer will be numbers starting from. Are we missing something? Oh, okay. All of this needs to have a closing semicolon, right? Because this is very important over here. I'll execute it, and all right. Yeah, you can see all of the numbers are getting printed 1 to 5. This is a very simple thing, but that is not a good or efficient way to do, right? Because we have already seen printing this until 5 time was not a big deal, but suppose we have to print this until 100 number of time, that would become a very big deal for us. So for that, what we would be doing is we would be replacing it with our while loop, right? Which is a loop in general. I would say that I have got the initialization done. I've got that. Okay, I'll be iterating over number I. I'll just do one simple thing, right? I'll say that if the number, right, if my number is less than 10, suppose if my number is less than equals to 10, I should be doing what? I should be executing a statement, then that should be executed maybe 10 number of time, right? Or not console log, but printf. I'd be writing this, and yeah, as soon as I write this, what can you expect to have? Obviously, you can expect to have that, first of all, the condition will be checked that, okay, n is 1, which is obviously less than 10. So we'll be printing the value of n, right? Directly we'll be printing that, no problems at all. Again, what would happen? Like, will the execution stop over here, or will this execute number of times, right? Again, repeat will happen. The answer is yes, the repeat will happen because this is a loop, right? That we are talking right now. This is not a normal statement. So repetition will mean that again it will go back to the same line, right? It will again check, okay, it's still less than 10, right? So again it will execute this statement, again going back and forth every time the value of n is 1, right? So it will go on and on and on until infinity, right? Which is something we don't want, at least, right? At least as of now. So how we can do that is we have to also update the value. How would we update the value? By writing n plus plus. Exactly, right? By writing so, what would happen? Now, immediately 1 is executed, right? The value of 1 will become 2. Now 2 will be compared with a 10. Obviously 2 is less than 10. So yeah, it will be printed. Then value of 2 will be incremented to 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and so forth, so on and so forth. As soon as I do this, as soon as I execute it, right? You can see the numbers are getting printed. Let me even show you that, right? The numbers are getting printed from 1 till 10, right? So that's how we can simply print the number with the help of loops, right? All right. So I hope all of you have got this particular thing, isn't it? All right. All right. Now, if that is the case, right, if you have got this completely, right, we can move ahead with the next variation of that, right? There are other variation of writing the same functionality, right, using a different syntax and using a different loop. What is that syntax and what is that functionality? Let me write a comment for you. This is how you write a while loop. Yes. You use a for loop, right? For loop may. Now, the syntax of writing a for loop is a little strange, right? Let me tell you one thing about iterations is that whenever you do the loops, right? Loops will require you to have these 3 things. What 3 things will they require us to have? Right? They will require us to have one of the initialization part. They will require us to have initialization, right? Or initialization of variable wherein we'll be, we'll be moving ahead. Then conditional checking. Next is basically updation of the variable, right? What do I mean by that? Suppose in this, what was the first step? The first step was about the initialization, right? Where are we doing the initialization exactly? We are doing the initialization exactly at line number 5, right? We are just saying that, yeah, initialization is also important, Rakesh. Conditional and increment is good, right? But we also need to tell, right, where, which thing we want to iterate on, which thing we want to start on. So that is basically setting up the initial values. So that is the basically initialization. Next up is basically conditional check, right? And this last one at line number 20 is the upgradation, And it's not always the case that we'll be incrementing it. In some cases, we'll be decrementing them, we'll be multiplying them, we will be doing two other functionalities into that, many different functionalities into that, right? Yeah. That being said, right, the syntax of for loop is going to be something like this. First of all, you'll write the initialization, yes, followed by semicolon. Then you would write the conditional part, conditional checking, right? Then again followed by the followed by the semicolons, and then upgradation or updation, right? This is the basic syntax of writing a for loop. And let me tell you that, this is more condensed than writing a while loop, because in while loop you were writing updation, or you were writing initialization, all of these things into different parts. Initialization was written outside of the while loop. Then let me also write this over here. Let's cut it from here. Let's paste it on the top there, right? And yeah, this is basically initialization, then was conditional checking, and then was upgradation, right? In this, it is fairly simple. All of this is going to happen on the same line, and all of them has a separate section, right? Please note that you cannot mix the initialization, conditional checking, and upgradation. You cannot swap their order, right? The order has to be exactly the same. First of all, should be the initialization, conditional checking, and then updation of the particular variable, right? That being said, right, now you will have the body of the function. Therein you'll write the body of the function, right? Whatever you want to do as a looping part. Let's do the same stuff, right? Let's have another example. I want to print numbers. Maybe this time I want to print numbers starting from 10 and going back till, I'll do one thing. I want to start the numbers from 10. I want to print the numbers 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? I want to start the numbers from 10 and I want to go till 0. Can you help me out into doing that? Like, how can I fix these value here? It's very simple. First thing is basically setting up the initialization. I would say int I equals to, maybe I'll start from 10. I'll write it. I less than, I is greater than equals to 0 until the number, we can print till 0 or we can print till 1. I think printing till 1 will be more, will make much more sense. And then I minus, right? So I'm just doing, yeah, exactly. And I'm just doing decrementation because this time the value needs to be decremented and not incremented, right? Printf, yes, and then doing the same stuff back again and again, right? I want to print the value of d, so I want to print the value of I. I'll just print it this way, right? That's it. Now what would happen? Let's execute it. And you can see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's perfect, right? Isn't it? That we have also got the for loop. We have also got another loop done, right? Just that there is a syntactically difference, right? Both of them are syntactically different. The way of working both the loops is almost the same. The same thing you can do using a while loop also, or the same thing you can do using a for loop also, right? So these are two types of loops that you have. Now, coming up, we have another type of loop that is called as a do while loop, right? We can discuss that, but I think for this particular point, right, to understand the star pattern, we are good with it, right? We can only get this, we can just get, the pattern done using this one also. So, although do while is not a big deal, but since we have limited time and at the end of the class, we also have to do the live quiz also. So that's why I'm keeping the space, right? I'm just, I'm just taking time into consideration. And now I'll be moving ahead with the next topic, right? In case there is any problem using a funny sort of pattern. Right, I hope I'm audible, right? I felt like my internet got broken for a minute. Anyways. All right. So let's start, right? Are we good? Yes. Let's start with this particular thing, right? Let's start with the next implementation. That is, How, suppose I want to give you, I would give you one simple example, right? I would want you to print this for me. I would want you to print maybe, you know, 5-star one or the other, like just like this. Can you do that for me? 5-star one or the other. Like, can this be done, guys? Now, please note that we will be doing all the modification with this for loop now, because this is, now we're trying to generalize this pattern, right? I would want to give you a pattern, right? I want to give you a basic, yeah, I just want to give you a basic template how we can get any kind of pattern done using a simple boilerplate code. Yeah, so that can be done using just like this, that we have to use slash, and I'm using backslash n just so that I can print into next line. And I have to, instead of printing I would just print a stars. And not even that only. I can just directly print here. And I can print a star. And that's it. And why to just, maybe we can start it from 1 only. And then we can go until we are less than 5, less than equals to 5. Less than equals to 5, and then I++. Right. By doing so, I hope you would have guessed what would happen. See, all the 5 stars are coming one over the other. That's really beautiful, isn't it? All right. If that is done, right, we can, let's modify the question a little bit, right? Let's not print these stars one or the other. Let's try to print all these stars into, you know, a little more intense. Let's make it a little more intense. What if I want you to print, all these stars in this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want you to print that as a square. Can you do that for me? Can this be done? What do you think? Is this doable, guys? Like, if yes, then how can we do that? This is my question for you. The answer is going to be a little challenging this time, right? Let's see that. Now, the problem is that we can print maybe like this way also, right? We can just print all of these stars like this way, right? I think this can be printed this way. All right, this is coming nice, right? Isn't it? But what if I tell you that I don't want you to implement it this way? I want you to implement all these stars purely using loops. You can print the star only one time, right? You can use this printf in star in one time only. You are not allowed to use 5 stars in one printf statement. How can you do that? Now problems become a little challenging, right? For that, I would do one simple thing, right? Yeah, I would do one simple thing over here is, this is the first trick, right? First trick as in, whatever pattern is given to you, right? Whatever pattern is given to you to print, you just have to create this inside these boxes, right? You just try to create these rows and columns around it, so that you can try to figure out, is there any pattern going on? Yeah, is there any pattern going on? We'll come to 2 loops, right? We'll come to 2 loops. Before that, can you figure out any pattern? The pattern is, yes, there is a pattern. First of all, how many rows are we given, right? Yeah, we are given 5 rows, right? 5 rows and 5 columns are we given, right? That clearly means, you know, user will give you a number, right? You just have to print that much number of rows, and also you have to print that much number of columns into that row. You'll go to the first row, you'll say that, okay, 5 columns. Inside each row, you'll have to print it 5 times. Again, doing this for 5 times will print you the whole, you know, the whole pattern that we were, expecting. So just like we can use a nested for loop, right? Just like we can use a nested if loop, if statement, we can also use a nested for loop, right? This time I would say int j equals to 1. Again, I'll just do the same process, right? I'll just do exactly the same process here. Also less than 5, j plus plus, and then I would be printing it this way, right? What do you think? Will it print, or is there anything that we are missing? Like, please notice at line number 32, I'm just giving you a hint, right? Will it print successfully, or is there something we are missing on? Let's see who can figure this out for me. error आएगा ये, right? Not exactly error, but it will not print the way that we wanted. Let's see that what will happen. See, as expected, it is not what we wanted, right? It is just printing all of this thing into, yeah, it is all printing all of this into the next line, which is not a good thing to have, right? So what we should be doing is we should be having after each line, right? At each line, we just want to print it normally. And after a line is completed, this particular inner loop, what does it signify? Can anyone help me out with that? What is happening with the help of this inner loop? This inner loop is basically helping us to create a column, right? Isn't it? What if I say that, rather than doing this, right? If, yeah, five start in one line, exactly. So once this particular loop is over, we can comfortably say that, after a line is completed, we should have a line break, isn't it? How can we get a line break? Just by writing \n, that's it. Right. As soon as I write this, and if I hit on execute, okay. I need to write that into double quotes. Why I'm writing this into single quotes? And doing this will do the job for me, isn't it? Now you can see the pattern is getting printed very beautifully. In case you want to have a space between them also, let's add a space. And yes, that is it, right? That's how you can see all of the stars getting printed with the equal row number and equal column number. Right? All right. Now, if that is making sense, we are a little close, right? We just have to figure out that, this is a basic template, right? I'll just say this one more time again, that this is nothing but this is a basic template that we'll be using everywhere, almost everywhere, whenever we have to create any sort of pattern. Now, I know you might have a question that, like, is this foolproof? Will this print any pattern for us? I would say majority of the cases it will print it, right? Let's try to alter the situation, right? Let's try to say that, what if I want you to print a strange pattern for me? The pattern will go something like this. Like this. Can this be printed? Let's also add one more line so that we don't have to change other things. Can this be printed, guys? I think you would say yes, this could be printed, right? What is the change, right? How is this looking different than that one, that the other one? The answer is that in this situation, we are not printing exactly the same number of columns, right? Inside each row. Rather, we are doing a special thing. What is the special thing that we are doing? Is that we are saying that for each row, right? This is column number, this is row number 1, this is row number 2, this is row number 3, 4, and 5, right? We are just saying that for each row, right, print exactly the number of columns. What is the row number, right? What is the row number over here? The row number is 1. How many columns we are printing? We are only printing the first column. In second line, what is happening? This is column number 2. This is row number 2. That's why we are only printing 2 values, 2 stars over here. This is row number 3. We are printing how many stars? We are printing 3 stars only because the row number is 3. Again, in line number 4, we are only printing star 4 number of times. Similarly, in 5, we are printing stars 5 number of times. Does that make sense? About the pattern, I'm just trying to give you the pattern, right? How it is behaving, how it is looking. In case that is making sense, right, we can move ahead, right? Yeah, we can move ahead and we can see that what change we have to do in the existing code. so that we can make it print like this way. Over here, what were we doing, right? Line number 31 was responsible for the columns, right? Let me write that. Responsible for printing stars along column. Yeah. Now, only change is that, do we need to print it 5 number of times, guys? Every time, last time we were just printing it 5 number of times. Suppose I'll write 2, what would happen? Every column will get printed 2 number of times. See, in every column we'll have 2 stars. But can we generalize it just like this way? No j minus minus or no I plus plus will do it. See, I want you guys to put in some logical brain over here. Can we set up a relation between I and j over here? I told you a relation, right? The maximum value of j is going to be the value of I. I can start the value of j from 1 and I can go up till I reach the limit of j when my j equals to I. What do I mean by that? In this situation, my I value was 1, and what is the maximum value of j? J was also 1. In this, I was 2. I was printing the values of zeros. Sorry, I was printing the value of 1 and 2. Similarly, I number is 3, right? And 1, 2, and 3, right? Can you see a relation? Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Row number over here was 4. Yes, exactly. Siddharth got it right. We have to just set the limit until I reach a limit wherein my value of j becomes equals to I. Right? That being said, right, if I do this, now, I hope you can see this. I hope you can expect what is going to happen. We'll be having our, simple pyramid or simple half triangle, whatsoever you want to call this. Okay, this is what we wanted to have. Right? I hope that is making 100% sense over here. Right? Now you can let me know like if that made sense, or I have to repeat it very quickly. You can let me know, guys, with a quick thumbs up or with a quick show of hands if this was making sense, if this made sense. All right, really good to see that it is making sense. It was making sense. Now let's do a little challenging stuff now, right? Let's try to do a little different stuff, right? And let me warn you, that is going to be a little tough than whatever we have just done, right? What if I want you to print a different star pattern for me this time? Let's start with a simple pattern, right? Let's start with the 3 rows only. Can you get this printed, right? This is my question for you. Again, by the time you are processing this information, I'll just quickly create tables around it. See, this is the way how you solve these patterns, right? First way is get that pattern printed on the paper, then draw rows and columns around it so that you can, actually see how it's working, how it will do, how it will come out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, next step is once you do the columns and everything is ready. Now, next thing is basically setting up a relation between rows and columns, right? I equals less than equals to j, use this condition. I would say that we even don't want that, right? We just would say that in case, what did you suggested? Ki if I is less than equals to j. No, I don't think that would not do it. Just understand this one thing, simple thing, that if we are having this, right, we are also having spaces in between, right? Can we say that if if this is I equals to 1, what is the value of what do you say, if the total rows equals to 3, right? How many spaces are we printing in the first line? We are printing 2 spaces. Can we say that r minus I is the number of spaces we are printing? R was 3. R is constant, right? Totally we have 3 number of rows to print. right? So what are we saying? We are saying that in first row we have to first of all print exactly r number, r minus I spaces. R is 3, I is 1. So how many spaces we printed? We printed 2 spaces. Next up was around that, next was around basically I equals to 2. R is going to be fixed still. 3 minus 2 is how many spaces we printed? 1 space we printed, right? Next up, r minus I again. I is going to be 3 in this case, right? 3 minus 3 is what? Obviously, I hope all of you know 0 spaces we printed, right? First of all, we printed the spaces, right? We have printed the spaces. Once the spaces are printed, now what is the next task that we have to do? We just have to print the remaining thing as a star. If you have printed 2 spaces, right, the remaining column will have stars in this, right? Let's try to figure it out, right? Let's try to see that. We'll have to like constantly hit and try, right? We have to see that if we can do this, if we can get this done or not. First of all, basically printing this spaces, right? How would we print a space? Is basically we would say that we would print a space 5 minus, or maybe let's get this pattern for 3 stars only, first of all, right? 3 minus I, right? Let's do that. Let's see if that will work or not. Right. In all of this situation, we'll just print a pretty space, right? Again, we'll just copy the same stuff. I know this can be simplified also. We can do this with a much simple example, but I just wanted to show you that, in this case, we'll take J from as it is and J up till J goes till 3. And we will just print a star in this situation, right? So this is basically responsible for printing spaces. Once the spaces is done, we can continue with the value of J, right? Why I have not reinitialized the value of J is because I want to utilize the value of J, whichever was left from the last scenario. And then I wanted to, have just a minute. Once this whole column is done, right? We want to have that. Yeah, let's try that out, right? If it is making sense, we'll look forward. If this does not work out, we'll try to figure out some other ways. Okay, let's get this J declared here, right? Because we would be using it. I know we are taking a little trickier way, but yes, right? This is what we wanted exactly. First of all, like, is this making sense? Let's try to populate this little more so that we can see a large pattern getting printed. I'll just run it. Run back again, and yes, right? Whatever we were expecting is just getting printed. Now, let me quickly re-explain this because I know like many people will have a problem in this, right? So quickly, first thing is basically setting up a relation between the already existing spaces and the stars, right? I told you the main important part is basically setting up that how are rows related with the columns, right? How are rows related with the column? First of all, every row may will be printing r minus I times the spaces, right? R minus I times the spaces means that we have 3 number of rows. We are considering that we have 3 number of rows. First row number is 1, so 3 minus 1 is 2. So first of all, we are printing 2 spaces. This is basically doing that for us, right? We are just setting up the condition r minus I, and every time that is happening, we are just printing a space. Once that is done, what has to be done? All the remaining spaces, right? It does not matter if you have only 1 remaining space, you have 2 remaining space, you have all the remaining space. You just have to print the same thing until you reach the value of 5 with a star, right? So by using these 2 for loops, right, you have effectively printed each column, 1 row completely. Once the row is complete, you need to shift the line by printing \n, right, by giving a next line, and then again populating the same stuff back and back again and back forth. Right? So I hope that made sense. It could be a little tough, but for that you have to practice it, right? You have to look back into the same code or look back into the same explanation one more time. You can skip back to the video, and also the video is also available on the YouTube channel, so don't worry about that, right? So you can go back there and you can have a quick look onto that, right? If that was making at least even 10 to 20% of sense, you can give me a thumbs up so that we can move ahead from here. All right. All right. So that was basically about how you can print some star patterns, right? Now, there is one catch. Yeah, there is one catch that, you would say, sir, I want to print maybe a full star pattern. I want to print a diamond pattern. I want to print more such things, right? How is that possible? Is that even possible? The answer to that is yes, that is possible. But for that, you have to first of all figure out, okay, that's a good amount of thumbs up. You just have to figure out that how are these related to each other. So you just have to figure out that relation. And obviously we are short on time, right? We have a limited time, so that's why we cannot discuss all of the star patterns, but I hope you have got a good foundation, right, about these patterns, and you would be interested into creating more patterns into using your C programming. Yeah. All right. So if all of this was making sense, I have a quick surprise for you. That is that as promised, right, you'll be having a quiz, right? Live quiz will be there, right? And someone from the team will be sending the link. Yeah, just give me a minute also, let me get that link for you. And by the time, I'll also share the attendance link first of all, right? Because I'm guessing that you guys would be needing that. Just a minute, I'll have to pause this my screen sharing, because there is some sort of sensitive data which I won't don't want to share. Just give me a minute. First of all, I'm giving you the attendance link in the chat section. Right, this is basically the attendance link, right? You can fill this out in order to get the attendance. Up next, right, please don't go anywhere, because we are also giving you, yeah, I'm just giving you the quiz link, live quiz I should be calling this. All right, so just join in to this quiz, guys. Just join in with this quiz, right? And I'll soon be scheduling it, right? Please make sure that all of you are joining, right? We'll be closing this within few minutes, right? All right, I hope all of you are there, guys, right? Because I am joined in. We are just waiting for the people, few more people to join in, right? And we'll be having the quiz link. I can see 34 people already joining in. You can also get onboarded few of your friends or someone which you want to be a part of this quiz. First of all, can you give me a quick confirmation, guys, if you are already there, if you have reached out to the page? All right, that's really good. We are just waiting for a few more participants to join in, right? We have launched the quiz. We have send the send the confirmation, or send the same message across other like across our community groups. All right. Let's see how many folks have joined in. Okay, 41 people are already there, including me. And this is going to be a kind of a MCQ based question. Yeah. Right. And the leadership or the top scorers will be, yeah, just in a minute we'll be starting. Just give me give us a few minutes, right? We'll just be starting it right away. We don't want anyone to miss out, because once we start the quiz, right, nobody will be able to join in and continue this right away from there, right? That's why we would be doing it. All right, guys. So I hope you can see this. We have so many folks with us. Yeah. So we are just starting in within a minute, just a minute, right? I hope all of you are there. That is the link, right? We cannot do it. It is just starting in, just starting in the quiz. Yeah, 72 participants are already joining in. Let's see. I'm waiting for the teammates to join to start that quiz for me. I'm hoping that they are just starting in. All right, let's get the drum rolls. So yeah, that is the first question on your screen, guys. It says that which of the following is not a logical operator, right? I hope you have attended the last class also, and you'll be able to answer it. Which of them is not a logical operator? I have just reminded you in the same class. I'll not be showing you the what do you say, the slide, but let's see who can get this done. We have 60 seconds to answer one question. Whosoever answered it fast, the fastest, right, they'll be declared as the winner, as top on the leaderboard. But not only this, you'd be having 5 more questions, right? Total in all, we'll have 5 questions. So in case you are not able to answer the first one very quickly, don't worry, we have other 4 questions waiting for you in the, yeah. All right. Too many people giving this as an, you know. All right. Let's see who has got this correct. This was the right answer. Yeah. So we have Sanika at the top, right? She answered that into 0. I mean, in 7 seconds. Yeah. Then we have Gopika, Rakesh, Tamanna, and Anjali. Let's see that. Okay, so I hope you have got the, like, for those people who were not able to understand key what was the scene. I hope you have got the idea now, right? Now buckle up. We have other 4 questions coming up, right? I'm moving to the next question, right? I hope you'll be on your toes. Next up is this: what will be the output of the following statement, right? We have just written a printf statement in wherein we were just trying to add. We're just trying to print a plus plus. The options you have is, would it give an error message? Would it give you a garbage value? Would it print the current value of a, or would it print the value of a plus 1? Please make sure that we have discussed about this in the last class, right? There was something called as pre increment and then post increment. Try to figure out that is this pre increment or is this post increment, and depending upon that you can choose your answer, or if this or if writing that is correct or not. That is also one thing. Let's see that. You people are giving answers in the chat. Guys, this will not fetch you more points, right? You are maybe somehow helping your opponents, or you could lose. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what is the right answer. All right. Majority of the people were wrong over here, right? They have chosen something else as answer. And okay, let's see who have got this correct. Guys, that was a post increment, right? So it will first of all print the value and then it will update it, right? That's why the D will not be the right answer. In fact, C will be the answer. It will print the current value, right? I hope you have seen the last in the last class we had a particular example on that, right? I even demonstrated the same use case, right? Anyways, so we have got Siddharth on the top, right? Then we have Saurabh, Gokul, Tanush, and then Naveen. All of these people are a fresh entry, right? Earlier, all these people who were there in the last leaderboard, they were not there. Anyways, I hope they'll be able to buckle up. Moving ahead, we have this next question in front of you is, which of the following is used and processing of a particular label statement when used to end the processing of a particular label statement within the switch statement. Right? That means in case you are into a particular case, which of them helps you to break the continuity or break the further execution of the sentences. I hope this is also something we have discussed just right now. Is this a return statement, break statement, return 0, or a default case? What do you think will break the execution of the ongoing statement within a switch statement? Folks, I would recommend you not to write the answer over here, because that will not count for a fair play. Although I don't have any problem, because if you guys are typing in the answer, you would have already answered, but that would make other potential people lose or come behind the queue in case you do that. Okay, majority of the people have gone with the break option. Let's see if that is right or not. All right, that is the correct answer. Okay, then the leaderboards look little stable now. We have we have a clear-cut lead of 50 seconds and then moving up to 59 seconds. I think there is a great difference, right? I think he'll be able to maintain this or not. Let's see that. Okay, should we move to the next question? We have remaining 2 questions, right? Let's see if we can see any major change, any major shift in the leaderboard. I'll move ahead. Next question is there in front of you, is that if, else, and switch are example of what? Are they example of loops? Are they example of statement? Are they example of operators, or all of the above? What do you think? is the correct option over here. I think it's very simple. I've just even showed you a slide also regarding to that. Okay. Let's see that. What do the people answer? Okay, majority of the students have gone with the this option, right? Still, few people are have chosen loops. Let's see that. What is the right answer to this? All right, as the majority goes, right, this is the right answer. Now, I think we would be in a tight situation now because most of the people would have given this as a wrong answer. Let's see what is the situation of leaderboard. All right, we can see a different winner. We can see a different person on top. Right, we have Yana Madla on top. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly. Then we have Siddharth, Saurabh, Naveen. Excited? Now, can we start the last question, guys? Should we move to that? All right, let's do that then. The final question for the day is this: which of the following is not a valid primitive data type in C? Is it an int? Is it a void? Is it a char? Or is it an object? Which of them is not, right? I'm talking about which of them is not a primitive data type. Be a data type also, right? Let's see that. People are giving in answers in the chat. Time, right? Is the end game. Let's see who have got this correct. And it's show time, drum rolls. And we have the winner with us, right? And congratulations to the winner. Also, congratulations to others who participated it, right? And the hardest question also we have got, right? The hardest question was around the pre-increment and post-increment. Anyways, right? Then we have Siddhartha on second, Saurabh third, Naveen and Shamala. I think this was pretty much the same stuff, right? Now, I would request, please take a screenshot of that, right? Whoever was this winner, right? And please send it across our email ID, right? I would, someone from the team will be sending this email ID in the chats, right? Please send a screenshot of that, right? Along, like from your, what do you say? From your email ID, right? We'll have few questions, right? Just to make sure that you were the right person, right? You were the same person who won the prize, who won the first position, right? So please make sure that you take the screenshot of that. Failing to that will not be allowing you for the giveaway, right? So just do that, and just a minute, I'll also send you the email ID. You can mail us the screenshot, just a minute. Yeah, you can mail us as I've just, yeah, please, you can also send us the screenshot on WhatsApp, right? I've also provided an email ID in case, yeah, in case you want to send a screenshot over the mail, you can also do that. Please make sure that, right, that is a kind of a surprise as of now. You'll get to know about this once you receive a package, right? From our end, we'll obviously be asking you for your personal informations like your same quiz in the next class also. Yeah, All right then. With that, that's the end of the session. I hope you have enjoyed it. Or